welcome everybody to another episode of the Neighborhood Watch with your co-hosts Dr. K and
me, Peter. How's it going, everybody? It's good to be back.
Finally.
Yeah, we're doing this. And no Mr. Corso.
No Mr. Corso this time.
To mess with us.
That's right.
To throw his
guy?
wrench in and God.
That'll be the next episode. I'm sure he'll be back.
Yeah,
right?
he will be back. Yeah. But man, yeah, we forgot what this is like. When was the last time we've done this? Just me and you.
I know.
The episode before last.
That's right.
Which was what was it? Help us out here, people.
The Exorcist.
The Exorcist.
Because this is our trifecta. We've now moved on to part 3.
Yep.
Of Peter and Dr. K's trifecta of the movies that made horror in the 1970s.
Wow.
And so
we're here already.
We've got The Shining knocked out. We've got The Exorcist, and now for our trifecta.
Yep. The final chapter in the trilogy.
The most brutal, I would say, of the 3. This is really this is the meat and potatoes.
Yep.
And what we were getting at before, for all of you who actually listen to this crap, whereas The Exorcist brought a great many things, right?
Yeah.
To the table.
It was like, what were we saying? So Exorcist was supernatural horror, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was like, it's all about, it's religious horror too.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Demonic. God, the devil.
Yep.
That's staple horror, right?
Right. Yeah, totally. Yep.
And then The Shining,
right,
was really, that's the Lovecraft territory. That's the fear of the unknown.
The suspense.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what the hell even is happening?
Right.
And then
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Tobe Hooper's masterpiece, is just the pure brutality, blood and guts.
Yeah.
Chop you to meat.
Right. And in some ways it's like, would you say it's like real horror?
Really.
Because
it
is.
is.
Yeah, because it's really it's man's inhumanity to man.
That's right.
That's what it is, right?
That's right. There's nothing supernatural about this.
No.
At all. It's all
the opposite of
meat.
Supernatural.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And that's the part that probably weirds me out the most.
Yeah.
Is it's the most tangible horror, right? You can really go up and touch everything in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's like it goes from one like creep you out thing to the next, and Tobe Hooper lays it on so thick, but so tactfully, that it doesn't overwhelm you all at once, but it stacks up one page after another, right?
Yeah.
He just stacks it up until the beautiful scene of hey, I think I heard something.
Yes. Oh man, yeah, that's it. You're totally right. That's when it all starts happening. Man. And it's great because it feels like a documentary.
It does.
And it's shot like a documentary. And
absolutely.
And it's very, I wouldn't say it's rough, but it's got a rawness to it.
Oh,
right?
it does. It does. Yeah.
It makes you really afraid of traveling anywhere in Texas,
right? Especially
in the 1970s.
Right.
If you have a minibus and it's in the 1970s, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't stop for gas.
Don't stop
or
for
you
hitchhikers.
Don't know where you are.
Yeah.
Or pick up hitchhikers. Dang it, man! If there was anything to learn from this movie, it's not to pick up the freak hitchhiker. Right.
And the minute they start acting a little strange, and let's say they pull out a knife or something, that's when you pull over and you say, okay, you know what? This isn't going to work. Right. But these guys didn't do that. They just kept driving.
They're just too nice. Yeah. Man. The character of Chop Top, and I guess he's not really Chop Top until part 2, when this character, this weird hippie freak character, is reprised. And we'll get to part 2 when we review part 2.
Yeah, because we definitely have to do it.
It's an absolute masterpiece.
Yeah, we have to do it.
For how good 1 is. 2 is good on so many different levels than 1.
Well, exactly. Right? I mean, what kind of blows my mind is that, like, this was Tobe Hooper's first movie, right?
Yeah, right.
And he just right out of the gate, he's a
shit,
freaking
right.
genius.
Yeah, right.
And then to turn everything around to do the second one, like it would have been so easy to just try to replicate what he did with the first one, and people probably would have applauded it and ate it up, and they would have been like, he's great,
no doubt.
But he challenged himself that much more to just be like, now I'm going to do this,
right?
You know, it's like, I'm not a huge Bob Dylan fan, but like Bob Dylan constantly
man,
did that
totally,
too, right?
Yeah,
he would just be like, you know, I'm going to be this kind of music.
That's right, right,
like,
yeah.
What?
And talk about unpredictable, but yeah, being totally unpredictable, and just killing it, right? And just like coming all out and just blowing it off, because this movie is a no budget movie. I mean, and it's not low budget by design, but it embraces the fact that it has no budget.
Right.
And man, it's that opening scene with just all that weird color and the shot of the sun and all that. When you watch it, you instantly, he's got you.
Yeah, right. Man, you're so
and it's just like, okay, I'm gonna open the door to this horror that is. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? It's I mean, what else is it?
Yep, you're mine now.
Right? Man! But then part 2, it's like, okay, now I have $1 gazillion. Watch what I can do. Right. Oh shit!
Yeah, exactly.
Man, watch what I can do with money. That movie is out of control. I can't wait till we do that one. But anyway, let's stick to 1974.
Yep. This you know, so what I love, I actually learned this from you. Is that John Larroquette does the narration, which is awesome.
Isn't that great? That's got to be one of the very first things he's done, right?
Yeah, and he does a great job too.
He kills it. He kills it.
But you would never think it's John Larroquette until then you hear it and you're like, yeah, of course it is. You know. But he kind of adds that, like, what's his name? The newscaster, the Walter Cronkite kind of flavor, right? Like, this is all really legit and kind of makes it feel really real. Totally.
And that adds to that documentary aspect of it too, doesn't it? It really sets the tone of like, here, we're going to tell you something that was true and really happened. When in fact it's borrowing from things that were very true, very Ed Gein. In Minnesota, you know.
Or I think Wisconsin.
Or Wisconsin, you're right. Yes.
I have to take issue with that because I'm from Minnesota.
Yes.
So.
My bad.
Minnesota had no crazy people at all.
None.
To be fair though, because there's a huge rivalry between Wisconsin and Minnesota. Wisconsin did have a lot of crazy people. I mean, you had Jeffrey Dahmer.
I mean,
and Ed Gein.
Ed Gein.
Yeah, two of the biggest.
And people who wear cheese hats.
Right,
So
yeah, exactly.
Fuck Wisconsin.
Right. So, we're sorry, Wisconsin, but we are sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry for you cheeseheads.
Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, I think you know, I wanted to test this out on you. Because you know, we always do these podcasts. We don't talk really about it before we start.
We don't.
We talk about other things.
We push record.
Yeah.
And go.
Some of our best episodes, we're talking about other things before we record.
That's right.
And you know, I feel sorry for all of you that you don't get to listen to that. But
I know.
It's just part of the joy of us being us.
That's right. We can only record so much.
That's right. But I wanted to throw this at you.
Okay.
And this is a real curveball because I'm not even really sure how I feel about this or how.
Okay.
Like I don't really understand what I'm trying to say, but I'm gonna say it.
I love it. I love it.
So, after I saw this movie with you, it brought me back to the first time I saw this movie, right? And the first time I saw this movie, it was so visceral and it was so like it was just so horrific, right?
Man,
I got nauseous like the first time I saw it.
Love it, Peter.
I didn't get nauseous the second time I saw it.
Okay.
Like, when I saw it with you, I could enjoy it a lot more.
Yep.
You know, just because I've seen a lot more movies too since.
Oh yeah,
then, right?
totally.
And I was watching it with the Neighborhood Watch eyes on, where I was just really analyzing it and just enjoying just all these wonderful choices that he made, right?
Right.
But going back to the first time I saw it.
Which is the most important time.
Yeah.
The first time you see something is always, you know, sometimes when you go back and watch something, you can catch way more stuff. But that first time is really when the most important moment, isn't it? The most really personal.
It just washes over you and you're just, everything is fresh and you're just like, what the hell, right? Yeah. So, you know, and I was thinking about it then when we saw it the second time and I thought, you know, the first time you see Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is very similar. It's a rite of passage.
Oh man,
it's almost like the first time you have sex or something.
Right. Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that life changing. Like you are before you've seen the Texas Chainsaw, and then you are after this. You know, it's a moment in your life because, you know, no matter when you see it, I think, well, yeah, it does make more sense if you see it when you're younger. And I did see it when I was probably 18 or 19 or something, right?
Oh man, totally.
But, you know, there was no doubt after that movie that I had lost a lot of innocence.
Oh yeah.
Like,
no doubt.
Like now you are an adult.
That's right.
And now you're prepared for the horrors that people can do and will do and do to each other.
That's right.
Right. And
absolutely.
So what I'm trying to say is that I think this is why the horror is so effective in this movie, because it operates on those really deep levels.
That's right.
And I think it's ultimately saying something about time.
Yeah. Okay.
See
about
if you
time.
Yeah. See if you follow me on this.
Okay. I'm yep.
So, what's happening is it's a group of young friends.
That's right. Yep.
And we all have that group, and we all have gone through that. We really relate to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when the horror really hits, they start separating, right? So it's kind of like your life too. You separate from your friends, right?
Okay.
You kind of start growing up on your own, right?
Yep.
And then there's that moment when they go to find authority, right? Or they and it's after the hitchhiker and all that stuff.
Yes.
But they go to the gas station, and then there's the older guy there, right?
The cook.
Yeah. And I think there's a few parts in there that just really are really effective, that really hit you hard, right?
Yeah.
And the one part, of course, is the first time you see Leatherface, and he just, you know, schlocks him over the head, or schlocks her over the head, right?
Yes.
And then that freaking door shut.
The door, man.
That
blow your mind. If that doesn't blow your mind, there's something seriously wrong with you.
And it's awesome. I mean, I really enjoyed it watching it with you. Yeah. Because it was like this great, like both of us were just like, yeah, you know?
Yes.
Because it's so cold. It's so stone cold. But it's brutal. There's so much. I mean, there's so much swagger in it too. You know? The way he throws that door
when he slams the door.
It's pure punk, man. It's just pure like fuck off, like right. And it's just I just love it, right?
Yeah.
But then so there's that part. But then when she goes to the old man, and then there's that reversal.
Just terrible. Yeah. Right.
Because now you understand you cannot trust adults anymore.
Yep.
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
And
you're absolutely right.
And it plays on that. That feeling. And especially, like, you know, everybody that's a teenager, you're already having those feelings anyways.
Right.
I don't know if I trust adults or not.
Right.
Now it's like, without a doubt, you cannot trust adults, right?
Right.
And that reversal, that betrayal is
that's great.
Huge.
Yeah.
That I guess that somehow, I don't know why that says time to me, but you know what I'm saying, kind of?
That's great. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
It's my half-formed thought, but I think I'm saying something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like that's what's kind of fun to think about, is like those deep levels. Why is this so effective?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, just talking about that scene where, you know, we're down to our last character, right? By the time the main girl, right? Because we start out with our cast of 5 teenagers in the van, right?
None of whom have a big name, so like we're not even going to bother to say the actors' names because they never did it. If they did do something else after this, we're not sure what it was.
Right.
Maybe they went to Italy and made movies with Lucio Fulci.
Yes. Yeah, we got him in. We got Fulci in. Yes. But anyway, so we got these 5 characters, and very quickly we get whittled down to 1, right? And when she gets back to the gas station, right, she does the big, and it's so great too, with chasing her in a big circle around, you know, it's like she's at the house that they're going to. She ends up at the house of depravity,
Yeah.
right? Where everything just, it's horrible. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
Yeah.
But then she gets chased back to the gas station where the cook is to only find out, man, that scene, you know, where she's crying and he's like, oh, it's all going to be okay.
Right.
And then he comes back with the freaking sack and a rope. That's so horrible.
It is horrible.
Right? You see her face and she's just like,
what? And
she can't believe it.
I know.
She cannot believe it. Right? And he's just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then he's got the broom. And he's like kind of whacking her with.
He's like,
this.
come on now, like he doesn't even bother at that point. He doesn't even bother to try to like hide what he's doing.
It. Yeah, right.
He's just kind of like, yeah, you got to get in.
It's just so fucked, man. I mean, and just the atmosphere is so nasty.
Yeah.
Right. So he gets her in the car and takes her back, and it's one of the parts where we both died of laughter, right? So, freaking Leatherface has already gone berserk, and he's gone nuts and sawed his own door up, right? Because when he was chasing him around, and so when the dad shows up and he's like, "Look what he did to the goddamn door! You weren't watching your brother," and he's beating on the other dude with the broom. It's just so. You're like, this is so fucked, man.
Wrong. I know
it's so wrong.
Oh. And even before that, though, when he's driving with her and he just kind of like he's like playfully hitting her, he's like just kind of giggling and then hitting her.
It's
like
so gross.
Just man, what's gonna happen? You know?
And it's just and it goes from that and it just keeps going down, right? So however Tobe Hooper did it, he had the magic shovel that lets you just go deeper and deeper down to hell. Like every scene, he's just taking huge scoops and he's going, let's go deeper. Let's go down. We're not down far enough until we're ultimately, you've got Grandpa and the hammer scene, right?
Right.
And it's just so terrible. That scene is so disgusting and disturbing.
It really is.
Because like you were saying, I mean, we're joking about it, but you're like, I mean, you think he's dead. You don't even think he's a human being, right?
The first
like
time
he's
you
just
see
a
him,
zombie.
You're like that's a corpse.
That's a dead body.
Yeah.
But then he's like,
he's trying to talk and like, oh god. Yeah.
They're like, give Grandpa the hammer.
Yeah,
he's the best.
He used to do this and like, oh. I mean,
and that he's just like dropping the hammer and they're getting him to throw it and they hit her in the head with it. It's so terrible.
It's just wrong.
I mean, we laugh about it, but when that first time when you watch it, you can't believe it.
It's sickening.
You just can't believe it. It's so bad.
You got to hand it to those actors too because
they're
so convincing.
Sell it. Yeah.
They're so convincing. I mean, you like you said when he's yelling at him for cutting up the door, you feel like these are real. They're a real family and they have these kind of arguments all the time.
Yeah.
They sell it.
Dysfunctional isn't even the word, right? It's like it's just so many levels beyond dysfunction. It's just horrible. But right.
Yeah, and the feathers everywhere.
Oh man, and the bones and
then you mix that with the blood everywhere.
So gross.
Oh, it's just nasty. You can almost smell this movie. You know.
Yep.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, the portrait of the real American family, right? Mm-hmm. We got Dad, or the cook, as he's normally referred to, because he runs the gas station that sells, you know, his home-cooked sausage, which we're obviously led to believe is just chopped up human beings.
Right.
Which the remake with Arlie Ermey, I think, was a lot better about... Or not better, but just probably more gratuitous about getting into the barbecuing of people. And part two, too. Yeah. Part two, because that's when he's going to the county fair, right? Yep. There's all those gags about, it's like winning the barbecue contest.
It's very clear
what's
going on.
But so you got the cook, you've got damn Chop Top, who is just a fucking freak. That guy, that actor, man, you can't sell how well he plays.
He really does.
Just this psycho hippie freak.
Yep.
And then Leatherface and Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And then
what a family.
It's the whole family. Yeah. Oh man.
It's funny to think how this. So you said this is 1974, right?
Yeah, correct. 74.
And just think about 10 years earlier, 1964.
Yeah,
you know? Like
the Beatles.
I know. Like how much. I mean, part of it is like the Vietnam War, I guess.
Oh man,
like,
yeah, right.
The brutality
Absolutely.
of having war televised on screen set people up to be
Absolutely.
ready for Texas Chainsaw
Oh
Massacre.
man, keep going. I've got such a great thing to add. Yep.
But you know, I think what's amazing about this, and it's we're so desensitized now that it's not that big of a deal. But to really put yourself back in that headspace of the 1970s, early 1970s too, you know, when you've got I mean, you had freaking Sound of Music and like Hard Day's Night and all these like 1960s movies, you know. Even we were just talking about the Hitchcock stuff, you know, which is great. I mean, Psycho is great,
brilliant,
right? And of course there's some really disturbing things happening there too, but it's all very subtle and it's very masterfully played, and it's a lot of in the shadows kind of stuff, right?
Absolutely.
Where this is just full on spotlight on, you know, you're dissecting the frog and we're gonna see every little piece that comes out.
And I think, and isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? I think it was to rage against that idea, particularly in the 50s, even more in the 60s, but that idea that you have to use, what's the freaking word, you know, you can't come right out and say what you mean.
Right. It's innuendo.
Innuendo.
And stuff,
Thank you. Innuendo was so out of control, right? Everybody had these feelings, but no one was allowed to show it or to talk about it. And Tobe Hooper is like, you know what? Fuck that.
Yeah. We're ready.
We're going to do exactly the opposite of what just made the 50s so weird with all the innuendo, because it was all, you know, all of the feelings were there.
Yeah, but everything was suppressed.
Totally suppressed. Yeah. And it's like now the 70s are here. Yeah. And like, boom, we're just
kick it down.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
And I think no part says that better for me than the first girl that went into the house, right?
Yeah, right.
When he opens the ice box and she's in there and she's just flopping around. You're like, okay, now it's on.
Right. Know? Yeah.
If you had any doubt before, this is real as shit. You know?
Yeah, like, right. Oh, that's so terrible, right? And then putting the other chick up on the meat hook, right? Lifting her up onto the hook. And she's like twitching.
Just... There's nothing. I mean, brutality.
And you said it too when we were watching it. We're like, how did he even think to do this? How did he even have the idea? Forget like setting the cameras up and getting your shots and actually setting the shots up, right? Yeah. How do you sit there as a writer and go, this is what we are going to show, right? That headspace, awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, it's really brilliant.
really,
And it's funny that we're probably something so grotesque, but it's it had to happen, right?
Yeah.
This movie had to happen.
Right. I mean, I think, you know, it's obvious now that this movie is an artwork.
Oh,
you know?
man,
it's art.
There's no denying it. Yeah.
And so, I think that's really what we're applauding is the artistic choices of Hooper pushing himself to go to so far past the limit. You know?
Oh yeah.
So far past what anybody had experienced or, you know, and he was like, I'm ready to do it. You know, that's one thing, you know, because I you know, I'm an artist, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And no matter what I do, you know, I love to do like crazy, gory stuff and everything, but there's always a voice in the back of my head.
Yeah.
What's your mom gonna say when she sees this, or what's your wife gonna say when she sees? You know, like you always have that kind of like moral obligation almost.
Sure.
Like okay, I can't, you know, dishonor my family or something.
Sure.
Hooper didn't have those thoughts at all.
Oh,
you know?
no. Yeah.
And you got to applaud that because it's just pure balls and it's pure.
That's
like,
right.
You know what? Sorry, Mom.
Yep.
I got to try. I just got to see what this looks like.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And
This will be my Jodorowsky plug too. I think I would love to ask Hooper if it had any, if he was aware of it. But what El Topo did in 1970 with opening the doors for the true underground, legitimizing the underground.
Very good point.
Midnight movie. I'm guessing allowed for this to happen.
Well,
right?
you know,
because even though El Topo isn't a horror movie, it was definitely a cult movie,
Yes.
right? And this is absolutely a cult movie.
Yep,
if there ever was one, this could really be the cult.
Yeah.
You know, I think El Topo is given the credit of being the first one, being the first cult midnight movie, but this in spades
is just
is as good as it got.
Yeah. You're hitting on two really good points here.
Yeah.
One is we cannot forget the brilliance and we're giving Tobe Hooper a little bit too much credit because we cannot forget about the Europeans.
Oh no, absolutely not.
We cannot. You know, we're looking at American cinema, but like, of course, you know, El Topo,
we're Yankees praising American cinema, so take that. But no, you're absolutely right.
But Jodorowsky, of course,
But,
and even the surrealists too.
That's right.
You're a huge surrealist fan. I am
huge.
too.
Yeah.
There's all kinds. Go back to even Dali and the, you know, the famous the eyeball and the razor.
Oh yeah.
You know, everybody goes back to that one.
Yes.
Le Chien Andalou, is that it?
Yes.
I mean, you know, that's really the beginning of all this, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really the beginning of showing brutality on screen.
Yep.
And just shock for shock value.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah.
Just to get the reaction out of people. So what was that, like late 1950s they did that?
Yep.
So we're almost talking 20 years later.
Yeah. Exactly.
When Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But I will say that that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, just by virtue of being an American movie, just brought that way more into the mainstream.
Oh, it did.
Because it let.
And we talked about this too. What it screams, what Texas Chainsaw Massacre screams. So, everyone's gonna say the blood, the guts, the chainsaw, right? It's Americana.
Yes.
This movie bleeds Americana.
Right.
It's more Americana than freaking Coca-Cola,
right?
Or at least as much as Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And isn't that the statement on the brutality part of it?
Yes.
It's like this is a middle America, utterly Americana, everything about it.
Yep.
But then it's the deconstruction of that, right?
You're right.
The just pure.
It's the
nastiness.
And it's also that whole, you know, dichotomy between the privileged younger generation, and then the older generation who are just kind of like left there in the middle of nowhere.
That's
like,
right.
Well, we don't have gas until next Thursday, so you're gonna have to wait. You know,
right?
Whoa.
Well, so then all the teenagers, right? Oh yeah, my uncle inherited this, and so we're just gonna go here and fuck around and
in this huge house. It's ours.
Oh man, and those shots when they show up in the house and they're just showing you how fucked up it is with this that shot with the spiders. Is just fucked, man. Right. And then that's when you know, right? Like they showed up and they're gonna squat in this house that's their place, but it's pure depravity.
Yeah.
Even in their little niche, right? Where it's supposed to be the safe spot for them is their little getaway house or whatever. But it's such a rundown, gross piece of crap.
Totally.
You know?
Man.
Yep, I love it. So I don't think I've told you this, but so my stepdad grew up in LA, but he lived for a really long time in Texas, 25 years in Texas. And what he did for a long time was he would do restoration on just old abandoned houses in Texas. And he's got so many great stories about these exact houses where what he would do is go in and just reclaim the timbers, because there'd be 100-year-old timbers in there. Yeah. So he would take them out and turn them into furniture.
Nice.
But he's like, that's exactly like that kind of grossness, like stuff that's just utterly rotting. So
maybe. So what was happening was Texas is this huge place, right?
Yeah.
And so people would go there, kind of like the gold rush people.
Man, I
go
think
there
so.
To make oil money.
Yeah.
And they'd build like huge plantation or something.
Or farm and be like,
and then the oil would run out.
Yeah.
Or they're just like, I can't handle this anymore. And they just take their money and leave.
And just split. Yeah.
And then there'd just be this huge house in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're
right.
It's
not really worth a damn thing. And,
right.
Yeah.
And everybody's just kind of like, well, it's too much work to even go down there and like take it apart or anything. And
right.
Just leave it there.
Well, I think, and it's so great that Toby picked Texas to do it in. But think about what New York City looked like in 1974, right? It was fucked. Yeah. It was total garbage. And we've got, there's so many good examples in movies about, 1970. I mean, all the Scorsese movies, every single one of them, right?
The Warriors.
Oh, Warriors, come on and play. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that one. I mean, but seeing how it's the 70s pre-gentrification of what would happen later in the 80s when it kind of everything started to swing the other way and money started getting pumped into stuff. This is when everything was kind of at its most run down before that.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. This was kind of the end of like the car's running out of like you better just bring the car to the junkyard, right? This is at the last leg.
Don't pick up the hitchhiker, damn it.
Right. Yeah, that's and another thing. So, okay, before I go to that, were you going to say something about Vietnam when we were talking?
Yeah. Okay. So this is really great. You're gonna love this. So my in-laws were in town this last week, and in preparation for this episode, I wanted to bounce some ideas off them. So my wife's parents, who are excellent, and I want to thank them so much for giving me some insight into this, is I bounced this idea off of my mother and father-in-law, who were born in 1949. So they're baby boomers, a little bit older than my parents, but the great thing is they graduated college in 1971. So I said, man, can you please tell me what the influence for you, or what the experience for you was when The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I also put Jaws in because I thought Jaws was very important, even though we didn't put Jaws in our trifecta. Very important horror movie.
You're right.
But I put Jaws in there, and then I said The Shining. I said these are all, The Shining technically is 1980, but I said, did you see any of these 4 movies in the theater? And they said they saw all of them except Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the theater. I said, okay, can you please tell me? I said, here's what Peter and our idea is that horror, which was kind of sucking in the 60s, was getting better, right? And we both have said this in other episodes, but really starts getting better around 1968 with Rosemary's Baby and Night of the Living Dead, right? Really start to prime horror to get good again. And then I said, what was going on culturally for you guys that allowed for The Exorcist to happen in 1973, Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974, Jaws in 1975, and then The Shining in 1980. Like, was there something going on culturally that you think was priming movies to kind of do this, like, man, we're gonna knock you the fuck out, right?
It's a
and they
renaissance.
both said the same thing. Vietnam. They said the horrors of seeing Vietnam and having the draft every day. They said, there was only 4 channels back then, right? Or 3. There was network TV, ABC, CBS, NBC, right? And then public. So and then PBS.
Yeah, that's it.
And that was it. That's all anybody had. And what would happen? You'd turn the news on, Vietnam. Here's what the draft is doing. Vietnam, here's what's happening with the draft. And they said we were so scared shitless. They're like, that has to be why these movies were as brutal as they were. And I was like, dang it, love you guys. Because that was a huge part of our guess was that, right?
It just reaffirmed what we were thinking, kind of, right? And from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Exactly.
Like people that were actually there.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Wally, Linda, thank you so much for contributing.
Thank you.
And props.
Props, indeed.
A little bit of insight.
Jaws, right? 1975.
Yes.
You are right. That is a huge. Not only is it a huge horror movie, but it's just a huge movie. Period.
Right? Just blockbuster.
Yeah.
Like so fucking.
Pretty much almost inventing the modern day blockbuster now, right? We cannot praise that movie enough.
We can't. We'll have to do that. And funny thing is, I just watched it last week.
Awesome.
like literally 3 days ago. I watched it again.
You know what's great
about
that?
So many Quinn quotes. Oh man,
it's so funny too. Yeah, there's so many awesome. And then the documentary. It's not that old, maybe 10 years old or something like. That's a great documentary.
It's
too.
so
the
good.
Making
it
of,
is so good.
Jaws. Yeah, so that's a huge one.
Yep.
Maybe that's the unofficial 4th movie of our top horror movies.
Oh, totally.
That's really about monster It's
big time. It's totally a monster movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only reason we didn't pick it was really because I don't know why. I don't actually know why we didn't pick it.
I think
it's kind of more of a block. I always saw it more of as a blockbuster than a horror,
right?
Necessarily, even though it's absolutely a horror.
Oh
movie.
yeah, and it's scarred people. Like I had a drawing professor who was from Florida, and she said. I have not been able to swim since I've seen that movie. I don't go swimming.
Right. Right.
This is a grown woman, in her 30s. And she's
so believe it.
Yeah. So that's the power of that movie. That's the power of that horror.
Okay, my favorite Jaws moment, just because I just watched it, I have to say it. So the first half of the movie is before they're on the boat, and the second half of the movie is when they're on the boat, right? I mean, it's brilliant. It's so smart.
Yep.
When Quint goes and smashes the radio, when they go, we have to get a bigger boat. Right there's the line, we need a bigger boat.
Right.
And then the tension is rising. It's like rising, and then they're like, okay, we gotta call in the Coast Guard, man. We gotta get us. And Quint goes fucking berserk and smashes the radio, and then stares at the other two guys. Genius.
It's great. Yep.
It was the huge fuck you. I'm the captain, and we're going down.
This is how we do
Moby Dick. We are going down. Oh, dude, it's genius.
I love it. I love it. And talk about going back to Americana too.
Oh yeah. Right.
It's all about
it's
that,
Nantucket, man. That movie. If that's not a movie about Moby Dick and some Nantucket madness,
and it's really kind of predicting a little bit of the 80s flavor too, with just the
big time
the is it the mayor that's just like we gotta keep we're tourist season, man, we gotta have all the tourists here, and there's a freaking shark killing everybody. It'll be okay,
so
maybe we'll close the beaches after 4th of July.
No, right.
Because then we can make more money, right?
Right. Yep.
You guys understand, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So brilliantly done to hate that guy's guts. I love that when they get you to when the characters are so perfectly played, where you're like, you just totally believe, like, I can see that. I can see exactly that happening, right? Mm-hmm. And where it's like, hey, wait a minute, this kid just got eaten out here. What the fuck is the matter with you?
Right. Love it, man.
But we digress.
We do digress. Yes. Yeah, because we need to give more love to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Because although it doesn't have those big great moments that we remember from Jaws, it does have a lot of great moments.
Oh man.
So
the door. I mean, there's a handful of them, right? Yeah. So the door. I mean, that's the first one, right? Yeah. The first person gets killed, and that shot of him standing there.
Clunk.
That is just it's perfect. I mean. There are probably film students out there that are listening, and they're like, no shit, man. We've been in 20 classes where they all show that and how perfect that is, right? Yeah. Hitting you in the head with the hammer, grabbing the door and slamming the door in your face.
Yeah. Talk about a definition of this movie. Right? It's all right there.
Yeah. So that moment, then obviously the wheelchair moment, which we mentioned before, but it's so good. I mean, I think I hear something.
What's great too though is we were dying laughing.
We
at that
died.
Scene.
Yeah.
But
it's so good.
What I love about good horror too though, and they've talked about this in a lot of things.
Yep.
And I know you're going to be nodding your heads with this too, but I do want to draw attention to it. It's when things happen that don't make sense.
Oh yeah.
Little things happen.
Right.
Little things.
Right.
That you're just kind of like, well, why did that happen? And then it's never explained. So the big thing for me is Chop Top.
Yep.
Wiping his blood on the side of the van.
Right.
So I mean, even before that, cutting his hand open.
His whole thing. Yeah.
And they're all just staring at him.
Right. Him doing the fucking ritual or whatever it is he's doing, right?
Right, and he's just giggling the whole time and like.
Yeah.
But he just wipes his hand on the, and it's this weird thing where it's like, well, maybe he's marking the van or something.
That's what that was what we came to, right? Like they're marked. But they don't explain anything.
Yeah, and it's not really carried through. I mean, because it feels like like they just kind of horribly accidentally happened into this whole situation.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe it was directed.
They just blundered into it.
Yeah. Right.
But it makes it so much cooler, right? But that we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
You have to talk about the fact that he marks him.
Yeah.
Right. And they definitely. We are meant to see it, right? Because then they show it later when when they go in the gas station, and the dude's like, he's trying to wipe it off the idiot brother or whatever. He's like,
right.
But then, it's just it gets your wheels turning, right?
And I think the teenagers even kind of acknowledge it too, right? They say,
they joke
maybe
about
he
it.
marked us.
Maybe he marked us. Yeah. Right.
So you've got that going on in your head,
but then the story kind of pans out like they were doomed anyway, right? I mean, they couldn't. They never had to even pick up Chop Top.
No.
And they would have ended up in the exact same
you're right.
place, right?
Exactly.
But that's what makes it even cooler, is that, like you said, it's not, none of that is explained, and man, is it so good.
And it just messes with you.
Right.
Like, why?
And just Chop Top's character is so fucked, man. He's such a geezerly, like, anyone who's lived on this planet long enough has met somebody like that who is just totally unhinged and not well balanced, and is a definition of a geezer, right? And not a good geezer either, like a scandalous, nasty geezer. Oh man, like when the grandpa comes in the truck and he's just like running on the side of the truck,
right?
Like a fucking idiot, right?
He's just out of control.
Oh
man.
Yeah. And I mean Edwin Neal, who plays him in this movie, does such a great rendition. But then what's his name who plays him in part 2?
Bill Moseley.
That guy's been in fucking everything. In all of the Rob Zombie movies. What's his name?
Bill Moseley.
Talking about.
Oh, people, you guys are gonna murder me if I freaking forget his name.
Rob Bottin.
Rob Bottin. Thank you.
Bill Moseley.
Yeah.
He does such a great version of it too, right? Because his is even more horrific and weird because we've seen, we didn't even talk about, when Chop Top becomes Chop Top in this movie, when he gets run over, that scene of the dummy getting run over by the truck.
Yeah.
You can't, it's a dummy, but it's so damn funny, right? Hilarious. I mean, that truck hits it going like 40 miles an hour and you just see him get sucked up into the wheels. But then in part 2, when he's not dead and he's got the plate in his head and he's like scratching the bits of his scalp off the plate and eating it with a hanger, it's just so fucked. Man. It's just so totally crazy.
Just the extents of where he goes with these characters is just
right.
But
just staying with this movie, I mean that end scene, the end scene is just man, and it's like it's so difficult. Like we said before, it's like you see this fail so many times when it's like, okay, we're going to go to this extreme, then we're going to go more extreme, then we're going to go more extreme. And you're just like, well, this is
right.
You're not going anywhere. You're just spinning your wheels. This movie is proof perfect that you can do it. It can be done. That you can just go, you can keep upping the ante if you do it correctly, right? Because the last 10 minutes is just one-upping itself every time, every single
one
time.
Thing after another. And she, like her flying
the
out
girl
the
jumping
window,
out of the window.
Like, I mean, it's
taking
just
off, limping, running. The truck.
You're constantly thinking, how much worse can it get? And it keeps getting worse. And it really, like, the last half of that movie is purely a chase movie.
It is.
It's
it is absolutely
a chase movie.
Yeah.
And you're hanging on to the edge of your seat the whole time.
You can't.
Because it really kind of plays out naturally too. It really kind of plays out like how you would imagine something like that would happen almost. But it's just worse.
And
it's just worse than you could imagine.
Right.
That's what's so compelling about it, I think. Right?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
When it's funny too, because the main chick starts with, there's 5 of them, right? Which very quickly gets whittled down to just her. But then there's her downward spiral into the chase. And then she meets the truck driver. There's 2 truck drivers. So there's the semi driver, I should say. There's the semi driver, and then there's the pickup truck driver, right? And they both help her out, but they're both like, holy shit,
Right.
this is fucked.
What are we doing here?
And that man, when that semi truck driver, he gets out and he just runs away. He's just like, ah!
It's running.
And then the pickup truck driver like stops and she jumps in the back and he just is like, oh shit.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Man, and then when Leatherface falls and drops the chainsaw on his leg.
Yes.
And he's like,
that's so good.
oh, it's so berserk. And then he jumps up and then, I mean, that the whole swinging,
Yeah.
doing the disco thing.
Pure iconic.
Ah.
Yeah. Well,
It's just insane.
What's happened here then is let's go back to the trifecta ideas for a second, okay?
Yeah. Yep.
Talking about a cult movie, right? This movie really did, even more so than Exorcist or The Shining, I think. It created an audience of like diehard fans.
Oh, absolutely.
Like rabid fans, right?
Absolutely, because it wasn't a major studio big budget movie, which is and we specifically picked it because of this reason, right? Because it wasn't a big studio, it wasn't Warner Brothers, which both the other two movies are Warner Brothers movies,
That's right?
This one is not. This was
just out of nowhere.
Fucking oddball.
Yeah.
I don't even know who it was.
Yeah.
It's some,
Dino De Laurentiis before it was Dino De Laurentiis.
Right. Canon before it was canon.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, it's so out of left field. So it already has that flavor like your favorite band who you discovered and they're just like underdogs, right? It's got a bunch of that flavor.
Yep.
But then what I was thinking about too is I think the reason why this hits such a chord with people and why people love it so much to this day and like just are fans of it. They love Leatherface. They literally they love these horrible characters. But it's because of the truth.
Right.
That's what we love. Whenever we see the truth. We're just like, thank God someone is telling me the truth, and you're killing it. We love it.
That's right.
And love it or hate Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you cannot deny that there is nothing artificial about this movie.
That's right.
At all, in the least.
Right.
Every single aspect is totally authentic.
No doubt.
Yep. Even looking back at it through our jaded lens now.
Oh, I know. Considering how many, this is part 1 of 8 or 9 movies or whatever.
Right.
And I mean, all of that, right? Everything. Yeah. I mean, jaded is the perfect. Yeah. By comparison, there's so much has fallen out because of it.
Right.
But no, you're
It's still everything holds up. Even if you're a real asshole and you'd be like, well, the acting, the hokiness of the teenagers and stuff.
Right.
But that's how people acted back then.
Like
it feels real.
No
it
doubt.
feels real.
Yeah.
Not a single. Nobody breaks into song.
Right.
like I mean, everything is just. But I mean, honestly, like this, there's just something really real and truthful, and honest
visceral
about
and
this.
authentic.
Yeah.
Authentic was the word that you said right there, which is so true, because that's what I know. We both harp on this, but it's the one thing that we search for the most in film, and so it's that the story that they're trying to tell us is true. Okay, the story is true, right? Fuck all the pretense. Obviously, it's pretense. It's a film, right? We're never going to get around that. Even if you're going to say it's, well, what about documentaries? We were joking about this before we started rolling, but most documentaries today are only half-assed. Kind of true, any kind of like authentic or anything real about it.
That's why whenever you see the credits of any documentary, there's always a credit for the writer.
The writer, yes, and the huge disclaimer.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, you can't sue us because this isn't actually real. Yeah.
Right.
But that's not what concerns us. What concerns us is the authenticity of your storytelling and your presentation.
Yep, that's
and
right.
that's what separates something the cream from the from the fallow, from the bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
There's no bullshit here, and it's
and
it's not afraid.
Man, no.
I mean, it's not afraid at all to shine a light on that dark side of human nature that we all have. We all know is there.
No doubt.
But it's like for the first time, you can when this came out, and it's like this exists, you know.
Yeah,
there are
right.
people out there like this that will try to do this to you. You know?
Right.
Don't be surprised. Like,
Don't be turned into barbecue.
right.
So another movie I just watched, I think I watched this the last night or the night before. I was just doing something if I need something on the background, but I put in Legend, and it's got, that's got one of my all-time favorite lines is when Tom Cruise and his little fairy friends fall down into the dungeon,
Right.
and then their little friend is next to them because he tried to challenge darkness earlier, and the mummy pops up and throws him into jail.
That's right.
Right. And he's like, "Oh, my brothers, you are also doomed down here," or something to this effect, right? And they're like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And he's like, "We are all barbecue."
That's right. Yeah, I know
And
that.
the other guy goes, "Barbecue?"
Barbecue?
And he goes, yes. Barbecue." That's this movie.
It is. It is. We are all barbecue.
Are they all fucked? Well, they're all barbecue.
It's true, man.
Ah.
I mean, like I'm an optimist. We're both optimists, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah,
absolutely.
But you can't deny
Says the punk rocker who's made his career on pessimism. But no, I am an optimist.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
We want to believe the best out of people and stuff, and we prefer to look on the bright side and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? But at the same time, when the dark side is brought to your attention,
Dude,
you can't deny it, and you're
keep
like,
those
you know
hitchhikers
what?
at arm's length.
Yeah. Lock your doors at night,
Shit.
Like I always get in these arguments with my wife because she's the opposite. She
I
trusts
know,
everybody.
I know. She's so sweet. Yeah. Yep.
But
She's
I'm
very
like,
sweet.
you gotta lock the doors,
Right.
Like I make a point of locking the doors. Like, I mean, I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know how to lock my door.
I know how to lock the door.
Yep. Yeah, I think. I mean, it's just there's no bullshit, and we love it because it's just real, man. It's just real.
Oh man, right.
And
we Tobe Hooper again. So I mean, if you've listened to this channel, we go on and on about how cool Tobe Hooper is because he he's a genius. He's a genius, and we love horror movies. Yeah. And this is we're talking about the top of horror again, right? Poltergeist again. I mean, there's 10 movies we can name that are all Tobe Hooper films that are all as good as horror ever got, right? But the thing is, this is how he opened the door, right? And then the next movie was damn Eaten Alive. That movie's freaking great.
I gotta see that.
Oh, dude, I know. We gotta watch that and do that one. So that's so instead of Texas, it's Louisiana, and instead of the cook, it's another crazed guy who feeds people. He's got a roadside motel next to a whorehouse. It's really weird. And then people who come end up getting fed to his alligator.
Okay, all right. Well, that seems like Louisiana.
But visually, his use of color is right up there with not Fulci, but the other Italian, Argento, who is the king of color, right?
Yep.
I mean, he's the king of composition within horror.
Totally.
But Hooper was really trying to in this film in
ante.
Eaten Alive. I think he's really trying to show like, hey, I'm going to try to do color too.
Yeah.
But Eaten Alive is no Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's good.
Yeah.
But it's definitely
well,
you
second effort. You bring Eaten Alive to the table, and I'll bring Life Force to the table.
Right.
And
that's
Tobe Hooper too.
I know it.
It's just it just blows
space
your mind.
vampires.
Yeah, naked space vampires.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and Captain Picard going totally berserk.
Right. I sent that message to you
absolutely
the other night.
berserk.
I said
screaming like a lady.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart screaming with a woman's voice, vomiting blood. Do we have to say anything else?
Done.
Who's there? Who's lining up to see?
Right? I'm there. Yep.
Yeah. But I want to say one other thing though.
Yep.
Is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this cult of people that love it.
Yep.
And really that's the brunt of horror fans.
Oh yeah. Oh, guaranteed. It's a rite of passage, right?
Yeah.
Because you can say you're a horror fan, and if you got caught in a conversation of, hey, let's talk about how great Texas Chainsaw Massacre is.
Yeah.
and you haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it.
That's like, you're a pariah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about? You like horror? You haven't seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Exactly. That's like being a comic book fan and being like, I don't really know anything about Batman.
Right.
Like,
Batman, whatever.
Right.
He's on underwear, right?
Yeah. Is that Marvel or I don't know.
Right.
Like you'd be lynched. You'd be killed.
Yes.
So you have to know about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
But I think it really it set that precedent too of like of the killer being the celebrity almost.
Oh man, right. Yeah. Oh dude, so true.
And then we see a billion movies after that.
So true.
Where it's not about the heroes anymore.
You're absolutely
It's not about
right.
the person trying to get away.
You're absolutely right.
They're just the white lab rat
Yep.
in the maze.
Yep.
We're here to see the villain. We're paying our money to see Leatherface,
Absolutely right. And it really breaks away in that you can argue before that the only thing that really came close was like, well, there's a principal. The principal character is a monster, right?
Yeah, right.
But this is different because Leatherface is an actual dude. He's a real dude.
Yeah. He can drop his chainsaw on his leg and he'll get hurt.
Right.
He's not
And then go berserk
Yeah.
because how mad he gets at the front door and his own leg.
Yeah, right. He's just a regular guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But no, you're totally right. As far as the new pantheon of horror celebrities, it does start with Leatherface, and then it's
And you get Michael Myers.
Michael Myers is probably next, and then Jason, and then Freddy, and then Pinhead.
Pinhead, yep. Those
Right?
are the main players. I
mean,
think.
that's your top.
That's your mainstream horror. That's if you went to a horror convention.
Oh yeah,
you would definitely see all of
Right.
those, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Pumpkinhead. But
Yep.
anyway, then there's your B-list guys. There's Pumpkinhead and Chucky. And,
Right.
But those are. I think we just got that's the A-list, right?
Yeah,
because then you got to pick. You got to say,
Right.
who's going to win in a fight and
yeah.
and all of that.
And then there's the puppet masters and the
Oh yes,
and all those.
oh,
Which are
puppet
probably
masters.
like the C list or
Oh,
the D
man.
list. Yeah.
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 Yep. Oh, Ginger Dead Man. Right.
Yep.
Can't forget Gary Busey.
Yes.
Contribution.
I still got to see that too.
Yep. Oh.
And another thing about Texas too, which I really want to visit Texas.
Me too.
Have you been to
Nope,
Texas?
I've never been to
See,
Texas.
Yeah, I've
been
never
to like
either.
35 states,
Yeah.
and Texas is not one of them.
Same
Dang
as
it.
me. So okay, we're
Which
gonna.
I'm and to all of our Texans out there, I don't say that lightly. Like with you, I really want to go there.
Yeah, I mean, probably my favorite writer, Robert E. Howard, was from
Yes,
Texas. The
that's
creator
right.
of Conan.
Yep.
He's from Texas. He lived in a little crappy town in Texas. He probably lived close to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house.
Yeah.
He wrote a great show.
He was eating delicious barbecue from the gas station.
That's right. That's right. And he's one of his famous short stories is called Pigeons from Hell, which is about one of those old Texas houses that's
full of pigeons.
Yeah. And some terrible voodoo, jubu, all that stuff. It's the 1930s.
Excellent.
But yeah, I think we want some Texas billionaire that's listening right now to fund us to go to Texas.
That's right.
And we will record in one of our episodes.
That's right.
Texas, okay?
That's right. At your house.
So we challenge you, audience.
That's right.
Bring us there.
Yep.
Bring us to your house in Texas.
Call us.
Call us. Do it. Yeah, I think Texas is. I mean, and you got to see where JFK was assassinated.
Yeah.
too,
Right.
Right. That's a very important thing. But I have this great image whenever I hear Texas, besides Pee Wee Herman and the Alamo.
Yeah.
Those are the things that come to my mind.
And the Alamo.
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
The basement. There's no basement in the Alamo. But I had this friend that this story is like completely out in outer space, but who cares? I want to say it anyways.
Okay, do it.
They're driving from California to Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And so they're going straight through
10,
Texas,
yeah.
and they just said Texas took forever. Like
Right.
they were seeing all these other states.
It's
go
like
by,
I'll be
blip,
in
blip,
Texas
blip,
for
blip, blip,
1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm in Texas forever, and there was a storm coming, and there's these great purple clouds just following her for hours and hours and hours. You could just see it in the rear view mirror.
Yep.
It's just
I
like
love
it's
it.
so great.
I
I
love
want
it.
to go there and experience that.
So Peter, have you seen? I think it was 2008. The movie. I think it's called The Alamo with
Billy Bob
and Dennis Quaid.
I have not seen that. It's a huge movie, right? It's like 3 hours or something, right?
Yeah. So there's this great at the very end. Billy Bob's dead. And Dennis Quaid, who plays Sam Houston, has just captured Santa Ana. And he's got this great line, right? So he's got Santa Ana locked up. And they're like, well, what are we going to do with him? We're going to kill him? He's like, nope, we're going to negotiate. And they're like, oh, well, what are we going to negotiate? And he goes, I want Texas. This is great. Like, nice. how did America get Texas? Yeah. Well, Sam Houston got Texas. Yeah. He got Texas.
Man,
it's great. Awesome.
Dennis
Quaid's it's fucking great.
It's a whole nother country.
Yeah, man. It is.
It's a whole nother country.
I know. They sure wanted to be one too for the longest time, right? They're kind of like, well,
yeah.
Don't mix with Texas.
This is our Texas spectacular episode, I think.
Yeah,
so
it really is.
People from Texas are really happy to be listening to us right now.
Yes, I hope so. I hope we're doing you some credit.
Because
it's only the greatest Texas movie ever made.
It really is. But people from Texas will not hesitate to tell you that too, though, that it is a different country, you know?
Yeah,
they're proud of it, that it's another country. And even people from Texas are like, yeah, there's some areas of Texas that are just flat out weird. We don't understand it either.
Right.
You know? It's such a fun movie, man.
It's just, that's the thing, isn't it?
It's such an experience.
Okay, so I want to talk about the timing too, because I noticed this when we watched it. I don't think I had noticed, or at least I hadn't I hadn't taken note of it in the other times that I've watched it. But we can't underestimate the timing in this movie. And what I mean by timing is not so much like the timing between actors or even the timing necessarily from one shot to another, but the flow of the film. Like how it gets you from that opening, it's not even an opening scene, the opening segue, which is John Larroquette, right? But the timing of the film, how this film flows is just, man, dude, it's perfect. It's dang near perfect.
It's hypnotic.
It is,
almost, right? Yeah, you're right, man. You're right.
And there's all of that, it's so, because I'm going to guess, but I think a huge part of it is to make us feel uncomfortable. Yeah. And so that opening segue, which is just all the, there's the really cool camera tricks with the sun, but then it's just the house, right? And it's that noise that it sounds kind of like a camera, that sound effect, that that thing, right? And they're just showing us how gross the house is. And it's like, here's this shot of bones, here's this shot of chickens, here's this shot of dead
nastiness,
armadillos, and just how fucking gross the place is. But it's that whole the whole idea of manipulating us as viewers into like, we want you to feel how nasty it's going to get. Because then after they show that, there's that the whole intro part's kind of long, right? Where they're showing all the house and all the sculptures and all the gross shit. But then we cut to the teenagers. And so now it's like, okay. Yeah. Now we're going to set the stage of, here's our 5 jackasses. Watch where they go, kind of thing.
How long is it going to take them to get there? Kind of.
And man, dude, it's just, it's great because the storyline, it's not Tarantino-esque in any way. It doesn't splinter off and tell you stuff backwards and forwards and all that.
I was just going to say that too.
It's front to back.
Yep.
You're just going right in a row to get to that chase scene. Because once it gets to the chase scene, man, then the whole thing speeds up.
Oh man.
And it goes totally freaking berserk.
It's jamming at that point. Yeah. Because you're right. I was going to make that same point too. And I think if they had cut away at all from that main story of the teenagers, and gone somewhere else,
right?
And it would have been artificial too, right?
Yep.
It would have definitely it would have brought you out of the experience of watching them go through this,
right?
And you'd have been reminded like, oh yeah, I am watching a movie,
right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Because the only other, and it's not even another storyline. The only time it ever really leaves them is to show you what's happening at the exact same time with the family.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So you've got the
Right.
teenagers and the family,
Yeah.
but it's all happening at the same
all
time,
at the
and
same
you're
time.
just seeing it from one side or the other.
That's right.
And it's really good about kind of taking us on this like one
track,
one journey.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you're right by saying timing too, that it's so, you're so latched and hooked on into it that you want to break away from it.
I know
you want to go somewhere else.
You do, and
get
it's
a
funny.
little breather,
And we
but
talked
it doesn't
about
do that.
No, there's the one moment. And it's when the idiot brother rolls down the hill when he goes to take a piss, and when he. Right, he's like, oh,
yes,
he gets out of the car and he's like, I'm gonna go take a piss. It's like this one glimpse of humor.
Yeah.
He eats shit in his wheelchair. Then it's like, okay, we're just teasing you.
Yeah.
You're not actually gonna get any reprieve. Right.
That was the only little breather you get.
But that moment is pretty damn funny. He's rolling down into camera. It's like, oh, it's genius.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he was great too.
Oh yeah, he's good. He really is good. He plays such a whiny, dull idiot. Yeah. Yep.
What about me?
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of those cases. We were talking about some other movie a while ago too, where it was kind of like, like this movie isn't. The characters, they don't really deserve what happens to them.
Oh, I know,
There are other movies where there's a group,
absolutely,
and you just can't wait for them to get it,
right? Right.
But these guys, none of them really. You don't hate them so much that
right.
Like,
and I don't know. Do you think that trope had even been established? I don't think not within horror anymore.
Right.
Where it's like, yeah, because it got so ridiculous to the point where they were just, because by Scream, they're just making fun of it.
Yes.
Where it's like, okay, here's these jackass teenagers. And
Just
then Final
shovel 'em
Destination even more so, right?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, we're fucking idiots.
Yeah, we just need
killed.
We need more heads to chop off. Just get them in there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, these these kids are like,
They're
just kind of kids,
Yeah.
We say kids. I mean, we laughed about this too. They're probably 25-year-olds playing 19-year-olds,
That's right. That's right.
As is generally the case.
Yeah.
But
they're just there to have a fun summer.
Yeah. Yep. And they just, it's kind of that underlying, it's fine to go out into the world, but don't check your common sense.
Yeah.
At the door.
Yeah, right.
Which for them, I think all happens by picking up the hitchhiker. That's really the end, because it's not going to the gas station. You can't fault them for going to the gas station asking for directions.
Right.
But when they picked up Chop Top.
Yeah. And then kept him in the car.
And they kept him. Man, they should have just... I know, we were joking. Like, if it was us, we would have, like, stopped, throttled him, and thrown him out the moving van for being such a fucking freak, right? Or actually, we never would have picked him up. But, normal people would have been like, get the fuck
out of here, yeah.
But they all kind of, like, sit there dumbfounded with their mouth open.
Asking him questions and stuff.
Yeah,
and
as he's cutting himself and making his little ritual, his little burning
with his little feathers and stuff.
Ah, dude, and showing the pictures of the slaughterhouse. It's just so weird. Want to see a picture? You're like, oh
man,
get the fuck out.
Yeah, tough situation for them.
Yep.
Yeah, because other movies. Yeah, you just that the typical teenagers, you can't wait for them to get it.
Right.
And none of them. And that's another thing too, is a lot of like the Friday the 13th movies, they talk about those things where it's like, don't have sex or something because that's gonna all those the famous
weird
rules.
moral
Right.
It's like imposing the morality on you.
If you hadn't have done that, then you wouldn't, but like none of them really
not at all.
anything or did any,
Yeah.
They didn't deserve that.
But they were just poor assholes.
They really were. But man, I think we've covered every major thing here. I do want to bring it back to Grandpa again one more time though.
Yes.
Like, what a freaky dude.
dude, brilliant. The whole premise of Grandpa is just brilliant.
It really is.
Again, getting back to how do you even think that up, right?
Yeah.
I can't get my head around, like, as a storyteller, you're like, okay, you're not actually gonna know that he's alive until you've seen him a bunch of times, and then you'll find out, oh man, when they cut the girl's finger and stick it in his mouth, it's so disturbing.
I know.
It's so horribly disturbing.
Like
him sucking on her finger.
Man,
gosh.
And they didn't they put like the little pan underneath her head while he's trying to hit her. And it's just like, man, this is
come
just
on,
so,
Grandma, you can
so
do it.
wrong.
We didn't even talk about too in Leatherface. I always love. So the first bunch of times you see Leatherface, he's got the apron on, right? He's in what I call the quintessential butcher's garb, right? Yep. But then from the dinner scene on, he's got the suit on and the makeup on, right? Because he was like, he's getting prepared to look good for the big meal.
Yeah.
And so he's got that ridiculous suit that's like way 10 times, it's like 4 sizes too small, and he's got the tie and the lipstick all over the side of his face. It's just so freaking weird.
So weird.
And then the fact that the chase scene all happens when he's in the suit. He's in the suit. Yeah. Which culminates in the swinging, dancing around in the middle of the road at the end with the suit on. Yeah. It takes the level of bizarro and just cranks it up. Does. But it's cool too because it's all, you can explain all of it, right? It's not just like, hey, let's just make him look weird,
right?
But there's,
it's never weird for weird's sake. It's just there's always a reason for it that makes sense in that weird family.
And again, that's good storytelling. Yeah, that's how you do it, right?
Yep.
You've got you don't have to, and what I love about that too is it's not hand holding. You don't have to have Grandpa tell us why this is happening. Yep. You just have to watch the film to know, right? And you might not catch it the first time, but once you start, you sit there and watch it, you're like, oh yeah, okay, obviously he's put his suit on for dinner.
You're right on the money that it's good storytelling, and it's why we appreciate these movies because the filmmakers themselves love these characters. Yeah, they love them enough.
That's right.
To know everything about them.
That's right.
And so, as a viewer, we don't know, but they know.
That's exactly right.
And you get that sense, and we appreciate that. It's like, you have really sat there and thought about this stuff, and we get to enjoy it.
That's right.
Because you did all the hard work.
We get to love it. And this is funny too. We didn't. So this was another thing about the why this movie fits so good. Okay, here's a reason why Jaws isn't in the big three of The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and The Shining, because we said this both about The Shining and The Exorcist, and I think it's absolutely true about this movie. In all three of those movies, you can't watch them a bunch of times in a row. They're that good. Yeah. They're that good of horror movies that you have to be disturbed if you're like, I'm going to watch this 5 times in a row.
Oh, God,
It'll fry your brain.
No, exactly.
Man, and I don't mean to say that they aren't excellent movies, but they're excellent horror movies in a horrific, wonderfully horrific way. Yeah. That they don't allow you to sit comfortably. And you said this about The Shining too, which is really great. You can't have The Shining on and not watch it. Yeah. It's not a background movie. Right. It's way too engaging. Right.
That's it. You've hit it, man, because you are forced to participate in these movies. Right. That's what it is, right?
Absolutely. All 3 of these. Yeah. You have to.
It takes a physical toll from you watching it.
That's right.
Like you are invested in it, man.
Yeah. Yep. It's not TV.
It's not.
And I mean like true TV. Like
it's not junk
TV
food.
Programming, right? It's not like, pay attention to that crap. I'm in and I'm out.
And there's great junk food too. I mean, there's
absolutely.
There's
absolutely
great junk food.
Oh, dude, I probably consume more junk food cinema than quality cinema.
Oh, for sure.
Because you can have it on in the background and you just be like, that's great. Exactly. That's why people love comedy so much. Comedies are great about like not being able to tune in and tune out.
And sitcoms too, man.
And sitcoms,
like it's comforting. It's comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But the three aforementioned movies are when you want to up your game.
Yeah.
When it comes to cinema,
they take work. Take work. Although it's effortless work too, because it's you're just sucked in. You're sucked in,
right,
man.
Right. It's like fishing, but we're the fish.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's really
we're not
it.
the fishermen. The filmmakers were the fishermen.
Yeah.
And you know, we're the poor dumb fish. That
so let me ask you this
thing. Sinker. Yeah.
So we are now finishing up our trifecta.
Yes.
Right? What for you?
Yeah.
Is the scariest one of the three?
Oh man, dang it!
It may be damn near impossible to answer.
Dang it. Okay. So I'm gonna say, all things being considered, right? Like you've got the perfect opportunity to watch all three of them. You're in the right mindset to watch any three of them. In the end, if you sat down to watch it, which one is the scariest?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a really.
It's tough.
Probably so. I have to pick one. That's just the end. I have to pick one.
Yeah.
So are you going to have to pick one and give your rationale?
Yeah.
But
it's really hard.
I'm going to say the Texas Chainsaw Massacre edges The Exorcist out.
Wow.
By only the slimmest of margins. I'm talking the thinnest of hairs.
Right.
And I think it's because there are chunks of The Exorcist that I can watch, and I'm not uncomfortable when they're happening. When I think with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, almost all of it is grimy.
Yeah.
It's all dirty and gritty. And that's why I'll give it the edge.
Yeah.
Because I think The Exorcist might have more powerful moments, like that are just really, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
But that storytelling is very different, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, it starts out grimy and then it's just griming you down. It's sucking you down into
really
the hole of grime. And then, and this is not and I'm not trying to skip out on The Shining because it's one of the greatest movies of all fucking time.
Yeah.
But The Shining is just a whole different monster. And I think it doesn't creep me out on the same way that Texas Chainsaw Massacre creeps me out, right? I can see how someone can totally argue for The Shining, because it's a whole nother thing.
I know this is why we picked these three. This is why we picked these three, because it's damn near impossible, right?
It is. Okay, so go, Peter. Go.
Well, it's fun watching you struggle though, because I'm having the same struggle too.
I know it. Yeah. But yeah, so if it's Halloween and I'm watching it, this one scares me the most. This is the scariest.
And I totally get it. I think you explained that really well too. And I would agree with you, except for me. Yep. This is the point. Yeah, this just comes down to opinions now, right?
Point of it. Yeah.
For me, I gotta say The Exorcist edges the other two. Yep. And only because for me, when I think about The Exorcist, right, there are moments in that scare me, and I still can't explain why. Right. You know, that's what it comes down to.
I do know.
Like The Shining is scary, like without doubt. There are some genuinely like creepy, raise the hair.
Some of them, I've been the most scared at a movie are in The Shining.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yep. So I'm not gonna say. This is what we're saying right now. We're not at the point saying this is better. This is a better thing.
It's got nothing to do.
It's nothing to do with better. Yeah. This is a very personal thing right now, right? Yep. But The Shining, for as much unknown is going on there, it's still it's The Exorcist hooks onto some kind of deeper thing to me, and I don't know what that is, and I don't know how to explain that. You know. But you know, it still scares me so much that when I borrowed the DVD from you, I didn't tell you this, right? Yeah. I had to turn it down, face down on my desk. I couldn't look at the cover. You didn't want to
look at the cover. Yeah.
That's how like disturbing this movie is to me.
Man, yes. How powerful it is.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre, without doubt, creeps me the F out.
Right.
And it probably makes me the most nauseous out of all three easily.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But
right.
But The Exorcist, there's just something else going on there, and I don't know what that is. Yeah. And it's not even a religious thing. It's too easy to say it's a religious thing.
Sure. This is exactly man. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. It's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. I knew you were going to say that. That it's not that it's a religious thing.
Yeah.
And when you say that fundamentally, but so not a religious thing, but like it's an intangible. Right?
Yes.
Like The Exorcist has something intangible about it. Like you can't go up to the demon and fist fight with it or grab it, because even when Karis does, it's
right.
It's intangible. Right?
Yeah.
When Bezuzu takes Karis over, I mean that whole scene, that just come into me.
Right.
Yeah.
And you hit on this point when we were doing that episode.
Excuse me.
And now that you're saying it now, I think another thing I want to say is The Shining. Yeah. Right. Although we don't know what it is that's consuming him and everything. Yeah. We're pretty sure we know what its intention is.
That's right.
Its intention is to drive him crazy to kill his family.
Absolutely.
And then it will be satisfied. Right.
So true. Yep.
So the intention is really clear. Same thing with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. The intention is, he wants to have barbecue.
Yeah, right.
And he will kill anything that moves. And so that's very clear, right?
You've got it.
The Exorcist.
You've got it, yeah.
What is the intention of Bezuzu?
That's the point, right?
Right.
To fuck with you. Yeah.
And that is really scary when you really start thinking about that. Yeah. That's really scary.
I mean, and that's that line, right? That Merrick has in the movie, right? When he says, what is the line? It's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
Where they're talking, where it's Karis and Merrick are talking at the side of the bed, and when he says, okay, so when Karis says, I've identified, there seem to be 4 distinct personalities, and he just goes, no. There's only one, right? And then, so what does the one do? He just lies. Yeah. That's the thing. He's just going to lie to confuse us and to get into our head, right? And so what is it doing? Yeah. It's just fucking unraveling us. Yeah. That's the point.
Just
for the sake of doing it.
For the sake of doing it. Yeah.
And that, you're right. That's absolutely, I mean, that's scary shit, right? Because you know where you stand with you know where you stand with barbecue. Yeah.
Right. Right.
We are all barbecue.
Yeah. You do. I mean, but
right.
Yeah, there's,
and that's
something
the thing with
that.
Leatherface, right? I mean, for the whole family, because Texas Chainsaw Massacre is really the family, right? It's not just Leatherface. It's Chop Top and it's Grandpa and it's the cook.
It's the whole dysfunctional.
But the thing is, you can step out of that, and I always love this line in It with it. Ricky Tozier gives, it's like, well, how are we going to fight it? And he's like, we should have a machine gun, right? What are you talking about? Slingshots? We need a machine gun. Yeah. That's the thing with Leatherface. It's like, well, if you can step out, you're like, okay, give me an M60, and I'll take a Leatherface on all day from 1,000 yards and mow him down. Right? You can't do that with the freaking devil.
Yeah, you can't.
With a demon.
Right. So there's something there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to gainsay your point. I don't want to lessen what you were saying about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, though, because I totally get that too. Yeah. I think there is something about that griminess too. There's something about that,
and about the reality of it.
Yeah, and putting you in that really uncomfortable spot. Yeah. Where it is easily the most uncomfortable one to watch. Easily.
Yeah. I mean, look, and I'm not the I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I'm not the best housekeeper, but I like to clean my stuff up. I vacuum. Right. I wipe stuff.
You do a good job.
Part of what just kills me with Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the filthiness of it. Right. When you know that people live there in that filthiness. Like that TV show Hoarders, I can't take it, man. I can't even watch that.
Oh yeah,
because it just disturbs me on a Texas Chainsaw Massacre level.
Definitely,
I cannot take it.
Definitely. So have you ever seen? I think it's called Grey Gardens.
No.
You ever seen this? Okay,
I haven't.
I think you would like that. It's on the surface you're going to be like, how does this relate to Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Okay,
but,
I'm with you.
But it's totally that Hoarders thing though.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
what it is very briefly is it's I think it's also mid 1970s, and it's great. It's a documentary, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's the Marple Brothers or something like that. They made a lot of great documentaries.
Okay. Yep.
But this is one of their first ones, and it was about these two sisters.
Yeah.
Who are like, silver spoon born with riches, and they're living in the Hamptons, right?
Right.
And what happened is, they're fourth, fifth generation of this huge money, right? And they're living in like their summer house now in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
And it's just them, these two old ladies. They never got married. They never had families, and they never left. And everybody else in their family got old and died off. And now they're like, in their 70s, and they're just living in this filthy mansion.
Right.
And like, it's the worst.
Right.
It's the grossest.
And they have 50 cats.
Yeah, definitely. They have not only
smoke and
not only cats, but they have like animals living in their house, in the walls and stuff, and just
dang it.
You can just smell the cat pee everywhere.
Right. Like you walk in there and your eyeballs burn out of your skull from cat piss.
Yeah. That's what's going on. And the film quality is really similar to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's that rough 70s rawness,
Right.
So if you want to get freaked out, if you're on that, you should throw that in after Texas Chainsaw. Grey Gardens.
Hear this, everybody? Grey Gardens. Peter's tip of the week.
Yep, that's right. Enjoy.
Yeah.
Tell him Peter sent you. Oh man.
Well, I think we've done this movie justice, Pete. What do you think?
I think so. I feel good about it.
Yeah, I am so stoked that we were able.
Yeah. It's a legend. This movie's a legend.
It really is. It really is.
And the second one is equally great too.
The second one, and it's funny because among horror fans, the second one stands all on its own. Yeah. Anyone who knows anything about it is like, that fucking movie. Yeah. It's unfortunate that the second one does not have the overall recognition that the first one does. Right. Because this, like we mentioned earlier, the second one is just a reinventing of the steel, man. It's such a bold statement. And such a fantastic, you get into, it's like, how many really good sequels have there ever been? And now that movie, it just, it's like, that's how you do a sequel.
Yeah. Where you can't choose between the first and the second one. You can't choose, right? It's, It's that good.
Yeah.
Third one, not so good.
Unfortunately, no.
Was it Leatherface? Was that
Leatherface was the third one? Yeah.
Yeah. No.
And then dang it.
And then it was just remake after remake after remake. We should make some point about that. All the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remakes.
Yes.
So you know this better than me.
I do. Okay, so you got the third one, which is interesting. That's Leatherface. I want to say that's 1987,
88.
88-ish, yeah. And okay, so it's fun, but it's a third one for the sake of making a third movie. And so you have to understand that's never a good idea to make a film.
Well, and it also feels to me that at that point it was really kind of embracing its kind of celebrity status.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was really, it was like, now we're, and even the title, Leatherface, right?
Absolutely.
Like, we're going to make, this is our Michael Myers. This is our Freddy. This is our Jason. This is our Leatherface.
That's right. And one of the best examples I can give is a fantastic parallel. So you've got Halloween and Halloween 2. The first two Halloweens, right? Yep. And I'm not talking about the Rob Zombie ones, but the very first two are 100% John Carpenter and Deborah Hill productions, where they were and Tommy Lee Wallace, right? So they're writing, directing. So those three are doing everything.
They're in
right?
control.
And what you've got is three people painting a picture, and you can look at it and be like, yes, this is who did that, right? Yep. Okay. Toby Hooper with the first two Chainsaw Massacres, and then both franchises do the exact same thing. They just diverge off, and you bring in all these other people, and you've got a property for the sake of making movies. And that's fun if you love the movies, and I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but there's no magic.
Yeah.
That the Tobe Hooper magic is gone out of
Yeah.
everything that happened afterwards.
It's like Jefferson Airplane and then Jefferson Starship.
Yes. Right. Right. There's that one guy who is still in it, right? That one dude,
Yeah.
the second keyboard player or whoever it was.
Yeah.
And
Oh
right.
God. I'm
But
sorry,
anyway,
yeah.
so you've got Leatherface, which is fun if you want to watch that, and then part 4, which is the Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey one. Okay, so 3's got Viggo Mortensen. So if you're a Viggo Mortensen fan,
Really, I didn't know
that part is cool. He
the
ends
main
up
dude?
being kind of the main bad guy.
Okay.
Then the Matthew McConaughey one is so fucking weird.
So wait a second. That's the Renee Zellweger one too,
Yeah.
and that's called Part 4.
Part 4,
Okay.
the Next Generation.
Oh, okay, that's right.
And that's the one where we find out that so this is going on. We mentioned it earlier because Leatherface wears the lipstick in the first one when he's getting ready. So in the 4th one, they make him a cross-dresser.
Oh, okay.
And it's so fucking stupid. So that one, just for the sake of mentioning it, if this doesn't tell you how far into bullshit left field they go, Matthew McConaughey has a cyborg leg, kind of like Bane,
Awesome.
and it goes out of control and will like walk around and do its like his cyborg leg has a mind of its own, so he has to punch himself in the leg
Right.
to get his leg to work correctly. So there's this whole shtick of him like at odds with his cyborg leg.
that's
It's so
awesome.
fucking stupid. Right. And to say this about it, the copy that I got was when I was working at Walmart in for the 3 months that I worked there in 2004, 2002, 2003, and it was in the $1.66 bin. And literally there was, I'm not kidding people, there was at least 45 copies in there. And I was like, I'll get that, and I got Punisher out of the same bin, right? The original Punisher too, where I'm talking the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
That's like
Came out of that same bin. Yeah.
Awesome. That's like that reminds me of there's that YouTube channel called Everything Is Terrible.
Yeah. Oh yes, I've watched it.
And
Yes.
they have like this collection, or I don't know if they've done it or they're working up to do it, but they're gonna make like a gigantic pyramid of Jerry Maguire VCR tapes.
Yes.
And then like set it on fire or something like that. Because they literally have like 80,000 Jerry Maguire VCR tapes. They just have there was just way too many of those.
What a joke.
Yeah.
Right. That was like the perfect storm, right? Because it was the end of the it was the end of VHS tapes.
Yep.
That was the blockbuster movie that was actually pure garbage.
Yep.
And hey, let's make 10 million of these and not sell any of them. And Walmart can't sell them at $1 a piece.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Cause show me the money.
Not,
Remember that? Remember that gag? Show me the money.
not worth the tape that's printed on.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Not worth the tape. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so then anyway, then Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets rebooted in the early 2000s, and that is the two with Arlie Ermey. So it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning.
And those are worth seeing.
Absolutely.
Those are good.
So I will argue that the two Tobe Hoopers and those two, the two with Arlie Ermey, which is just Texas Chainsaw Massacre and then The Beginning. So The Beginning it's kind of
like a
weird.
prequel?
So it's like a prequel, right, to the reboot.
Right.
So you get it rebooted, and then they do a prequel where they kind of go back in time to show like where the family is before they get to where we see them in 1974.
And these were made what year? 2002?
Like 2006.
Okay, a little bit later.
2005, 2006, 2006, 2008, something like that. Sorry,
Gotcha.
people, I don't have IMDb in front of me, but
No,
you all
that
know what I'm
makes-
talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
03,
And they came out
06.
real close to each other.
I think I saw
That
the
director,
first
who
one.
I forget the name of, he's a
It's really stylish.
Oh,
It's like
totally,
really, really
totally,
stylish.
totally.
Yeah.
Marcus
and the practical
Nispel.
effect in it is absolutely top notch.
Cool.
I would say as far as horror films,
Jonathan
2000, the
Liebsman.
practical effect going on there is money, pure gold. After those two fantastic efforts, there was Texas Chainsaw. Crap. I think it was straight to video.
Wow.
Don't even think it went to the theaters.
Wow. it's just called Texas Chainsaw.
Texas Chainsaw. Because I had to reinvent it, right?
Right.
Had to be something new, and it is. I would argue that it's the worst example of making a movie for the sake of making a movie. We have this title, we need to make it.
Sad.
Worse than Leatherface. I would put Leatherface way ahead, and then I would put Next Generation ahead just because it's so stupid. It's so cornhole. Yeah, that one. That's pretty pathetic.
Yeah.
But remember, people, that we are lovers of horror movies, and so you got to make. I won't tell anybody what they got to do, but I will never be dogmatic about liking it for the sake of liking it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I gotta wave the flag. It's like, well, no, I want the good shit, man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're getting old now. We're running out of time. We're not as young as we used to be.
Right.
I find myself doing that now too. When I'm reading a book and I'm just not liking it, I'm just gonna stop reading it. I want to read something else now. Right. Before, I would be like, no, I started it. I have to finish it.
Oh man, right.
Now I'm just like, I don't have time for that.
So true.
Screw you, Horse Clans book. Wrath of the Horse Clans, whatever it's called.
Oh shit.
Yeah. No, good stuff. You're right though.
Yep.
So
there's Dr. K's quick synopsis of the entire Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, and remember that this is somebody who spent $50 on a Leatherface Halloween mask. So
which is awesome.
There's my cred.
Yeah.
Bitches.
Yeah. You do not have to explain your cred, man. Yeah, this guy, he's got it all. So, come to his Halloween parties.
Yes,
everybody. The
best, man. The best in the entire state of Oregon.
It's true. So yeah, I think will there ever be another Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Do you think, with as much impact as this?
No.
Will they?
No, something has to happen culturally that we need something to happen.
Yeah.
And I think that something, if you say just generically, will there be something like Texas Chainsaw Massacre that happens in film? Yes.
Yes.
But not another Texas Chainsaw Massacre specifically, right? But definitely, I think, just like I would say another huge, as we're in this great wave of where there's so much good horror coming out right now. Yeah. There was a time when that had to start, and I would argue it may have been a movie like Hostel, or there was a couple there in the early 2000s. Saw was a great one, man, where it was like, now we have to tap into whatever's going on to make horror fantastic again. Right. And those two right there, the first Saw and the first Hostel, man, that shit was crazy when it came out.
And it's right on the same track as Texas Chainsaw, right? Yeah. It's the next generation.
Yep.
It's the next evolution.
Yeah. So definitely, yes. Who knows? What will it be? Don't know. Not clairvoyant. But I think the hard thing, though, is that it's that grittiness, right?
Yeah.
Because I think right now that Hollywood, absolutely, there's no fucking way in Hollywood. No. The problem is, too, is that you've got Hollywood films, you've got the Hollywood establishment, which somehow Texas Chainsaw Massacre was able to weasel in the 70s. And now you have Hollywood, and then you've got independent film. You've got everything else, and everything else is such a huge market. Whereas back then, everything else was nothing. It's like independent film was like, what the fuck are you talking about, right? And that's where the genius of this movie, the brilliance of it,
shot out.
Yeah,
so listen up, Hollywood.
I don't know.
Yeah, listen up, Hollywood. If in order to make another Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you need to do something. So the problem, like you just hit on it, is the problem with Hollywood is it just by its very nature, it will continue to remake and copy whatever is popular. That's the whole name of the game.
Yeah.
If something has made money, they're going to try to make something like that will make money. Where the whole genius of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is it's deliberately different. It's deliberately shocking. It's deliberately taking you somewhere you've never been before.
Yep.
And so we need more of that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. So true.
Yeah. So listen up, Hollywood.
Listen up.
I know you are.
Give us $5 million. We'll make you a film.
That's right.
It'll be great.
We'll watch it. I don't know if we'll make it, but we will watch it.
We'll
watch it, and we'll give you some good advice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep. We like watching movies more than we. That's our whole thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
We probably could make a good movie. We probably will someday.
Yeah. But what would we be, Pete?
Yeah.
What would they want us to do?
We would be like Best Boys. Or we'd be Grips.
Grips.
Yeah. I don't even know what they do. But
no,
it just
they do
sounds
something.
cool. Yeah.
Don't they like pull ropes or something?
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll be the best Grips in the business.
Yes.
They'll be doing podcasts about us.
And best grip of the century goes to. It's a tie.
It's so hard to choose. So yeah. So everybody, thank you again for listening.
So much.
We appreciate it. It's funny watching these things happen on Instagram and YouTube and SoundCloud and iTunes.
Yes.
And where else are we? Stitcher.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Google Cast. Yep.
Yeah. You are out there. We know you're out there, and you are listening.
Dan, thank you very much.
So we appreciate it.
Yeah. And just to prime for all of our listeners who actually give a crap about what we're doing, as you're well aware, so far this is our now 12th episode. And all of our episodes run well over an hour long because this is a podcast, right? Mm-hmm. But we are going to start doing short bumper episodes that are going to be Peter and Dr. K's top 5s.
Whoosh.
And so hopefully you'll be watching out for those. And those will be 5-minute top 5 lists from both Peter and myself on a myriad of topics.
It's going to be incredible.
We're going to do a big 24 episode run here very shortly. Mm-hmm. So watch out for those, and hopefully you'll like them, because it seems like from what we have intuited from watching on YouTube, people love lists.
Yes,
they really love lists. Yep. And so if you love us, hopefully you'll love our terrible opinions on lists.
Yes. What a great slogan, right?
Yes.
That's all we needed. Yeah, I mean the authorities have come down on us and they said, listen. Yeah, we need 5-minute things. You got
to play ball. 5-minute lists. Yeah. So I think it'll be our 5-minute top 5s.
I think when Dr. K had this idea, he was laying in bed, and then this guy came in with a yellow suit on and the gas mask, and he put the headphones on him, and he hit play, and then he said, "I am Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan." That's exactly what happened, right? And then
he was a naked space vampire.
That's right. That's
Pete.
What it was. And he gave you the idea for this. And he said, you must do 5-minute lists. And God damn it, we will.
Yes,
and we're about to do that now.
We are going to do that right now.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Everybody, thanks for listening so much, as always. And, when you're bored and you've got 5 hours to spend and waste your life on, please tune in to your friendly Neighborhood Watch podcast with my co-host and wonderful, wonderful partner in crime.
Thank you.
Peter Vankman.
Yes. And my co-host and wonderful, wonderful partner in crime,
Dr. K. Thanks so much. Yep. And we'll catch you next time on
The Neighborhood Watch